Welcome back to another episode of the podcast, From the Depths of Darkness to the Light of Success. I am your host, Chris Swick, and on this podcast, we talk about mental health, addictions, eating disorders, ADHD, and really anything anyone's afraid to talk about. We talk about it on this show. I believe everyone's story is valuable at the end of the day. Does not matter what walk of life you come from. You're all welcome on my platform. You can check out the podcast over on YouTube, From the Depths of Darkness to the Light of Success. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Check out each episode over there. I'm just trying to grow the subscribers over there, so it'd be greatly appreciated if you go hit that subscribe button, everyone. You can also check me out over on Instagram at Depths of Dark Side or over on LinkedIn at Chris Swick. Also, you can check this podcast out on any of the audio formats over on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, really wherever you can check out the show and listen to it. It'll be on those platforms. I truly believe all your stories are valuable at the end of the day. Like I said, please do not be afraid to share your story out there. It's truly inspiring to hear everyone's stories on this podcast, and we help one another by sharing our stories. With no further ado, I'd love to introduce you my next guest from the Montreal area, Quebec. We got Kim Bellis. You want to take it away and let them know a little bit about yourself, Kim, and what you're all about?
I became with my second life in 2013. He was 13 years old. And from one day to the next, he did a flip light clear, life was good. And then he started having grand mal seizures. So needless to say, our life turned upside down. After about a year or so, he was finally diagnosed with epilepsy. So therefore, alcohol would never be a part of his life, or one drink or two. And as you can imagine, I don't know too many teenagers that will have only one or two drinks. So that's what we were dealt, and we had to get on with it. So after his meds kind of got in sync, he said, I said, Matt, we've got to get back now. You've got to be with your friends. And from one day to the next, he would call me, say, Mom, after 30 minutes, come and get me. I don't fit in. Everybody's doing drugs or everybody's drinking. So finally, I said to him one night, oh, come on, Matthew. Nobody needs drugs or alcohol. That's fine. And as I said it, I looked at my hand and I had the biggest glass of red wine you could possibly imagine. So not thinking for a second, I said, Matthew, I'm going to stop drinking for 3 months. I'm going to prove to you that I can do it and everyone can do it. Our lives were going to go on. We had upcoming events, so it was perfect timing, actually. After 3 months, he said, see, now you could be like everybody. I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do another 3 months. And little did I know, 6 months later, I realized he gave me back my life. I was drinking too much. I felt better. I had more energy. I was doing things. I was communicating. And quite honestly, he was sick. And he did the first year, alcohol. And so off we go into an ambulance. And so I just had to keep on this journey of not drinking. So the first year for me, even though I didn't go out because every restaurant was kind of associated with red wine, yes, a rosé, a martini, I just wanted to stay, no temptation. So he was sick anyway. So it was really, I'm grateful because it was on him. After a year came and went, we decided to, because he didn't want to tell anybody he couldn't drink, even though he was sick. It just didn't make sense. And the first year I realized everywhere I went, people were saying to me, I was 52 years old, and people were saying to me, oh, come on, you don't have a problem. You never had a problem. Just come here in the corner, we'll have a drink. We won't tell anybody. Nobody will ever know. And I thought, wow, I would be such a liar if I did that to my son. So with that, Sober's the New Cool was created to give him a platform to say it was all about me. I stopped drinking for him. It made it easier for him when his friends would come over to say, you can't bring booze into the house in the back time. So he used me and I used him, I guess, the first few years. Now, needless to say, I'm 10 years sober and he's 5 years seizure free because we did go through, teenager stuff. Like you wanted to be like everybody else. And Sober's the New Cool was born. And, my sister made a logo. We started a Facebook page. Oh my God. this was over 10 years ago. So there was nothing really on the internet. Nobody was really shopping. I had a ton of text message, emails, messengers from basically the UK was where it all started. Then the US started to trickle in and it just blew up. And then we had COVID and it was just, we just created this, I guess, safe space for people to share. And I'm not their mother. So I can tell them things that they would accept a little bit easier than if their real mother was telling. And that's just, the way it happened. So we made a clothing line only to give back the profits to the mental health addiction community. Quite honestly, when people put that t-shirt on, so where's the new cool, they stand taller. They have no more shame. They feel like, you know what, they've mastered the brand. They're getting on with it. Their life is good. And they want to share it. You don't need alcohol to have fun or drugs. So here we are, 10 and a half years later, almost 11. And I've met the most fabulous people across the world. And I continue to do whatever I can do to help people. I don't pretend to be a doctor. I don't pretend to be a life coach, but I will set you up with people in your own neighborhoods to meet up with. I will find treatment if you need through different resources I have. And I just try to be there by sending affirmations every day, one word to the word great. And then they went, because all of a sudden they start to realize, oh, I am funny. Yes, I am unique. Yes, I am sporty. Like there's so many different qualities that everybody possesses, and it slowly rebuilds their self-esteem. So that's what we do basically in the nutshell. And we're just, really happy.
That's amazing, Kim. You know, how the word of mouth or the internet, can just bring a community of many, like-minded individuals together. And that's what I love about connection. The opposite of addiction is connection.
Eh,
And, it's nice to, build those communities around you and see where it goes and just help one another out. For the longest time thought, it's, you can't have fun without alcohol, but I've had some of the best time. There's so many different, alternative options. I love, the taste of beer. There's so many non-alcoholic beers out there now. I don't even feel the difference. The best part is I don't wake up with a hangover after if I had a few of those, if I've gone to a wedding or a, event or whatever. I'm glad that, it's becoming more inclusive, which is nice to see. And these other companies are seeing that there is a product to be, made and people want that product and those types of things. So it's an awesome marketing thing as well. The non-alcoholic beer selection or non-alcoholic wines or whatever,
yeah,
your forte is, if you can have that, any of those things around that, that's totally cool because everyone's recovery is different. You can't
mm,
shame people for the way they want to live their recovery or live their life. But, no, just getting rid of the booze or the alcohol or the substances, that's just one component. You're not going to get better if that's all you just get rid of that. You got to work, then those feelings come in and those thoughts, those suicidal thoughts, those types of things. So you got to work through those. It all starts back, talking to a recent guest, it all starts back to the childhood trauma. It's, goes back generations and those types of things too. It's not just the substance that you were having. That's like one or, a very small part of the percentage of the problem. The rest of the problem is you. Now you got to start working on you from the inside out, which is true. And mental health, is often closely intertwined with addiction. Could you elaborate on the ways in your mental health journey intersected with your struggles with addiction and what strategies you found most effective, Kim, in addressing both aspects of your well-being?
because my son, I wouldn't let him run bike at 13. What 13-year-old doesn't want to ride a bike? So of course we had to go through therapy because playing people 5 nights a week and being with a guy or boys to nothing when, like, how could you not be depressed? So we started to see, and um, we did work on, and both of us did work. And, I'm being with one of the first therapists because we went through a bunch. Because until you find, I think, the right therapist will click with you and or your child or whatever, it takes time sometimes. So you have to keep trying. And this one therapist said, okay, I want you guys to look at each other and talk to each other and say what you're sorry for. I can't remember exactly or how you're feeling. And my son, Matthew, was maybe 14 at the time. And he said, he didn't know what to say. So I said, I'll start. And I said, I feel like I've failed you as a mother. And when I said that, I started to cry. And my son was like, no, mom, no. And I said, I didn't realize you were being bullied. I didn't realize all the things you've been going through. And then, it's easy for somebody to say, just get on with it, you know. And I realized, no, I have to let him go through what he needs to go through. And through him, I learned that, I was drinking a bottle of wine a night. To a lot of people, they think, oh, that's okay. That's normal. For me, it's not normal. It brought me a lot of memories, I think. And also for me, I had to address we had alcohol in our lives growing up that was a problem. So that was something I had to address. And thinking, okay, this could be me. Maybe it's not. Like, because everybody said, did you go to treatment? Did you do AA? I didn't do any of that. I, maybe I was the lucky one because my son was so sick, I had to focus on him. So that was where everything went. But needless to say, to this day, I'm not a stick of alcohol. So there must have been something somewhere that is so scary for me to lose everything I have right now. And I find that with all the people that I do meet, connection is the key because when they do start to feel all these different emotions, because really to me, alcohol and drugs are a band-aid. It's just like a quick fix. And then as soon as you're not bound anymore, or you wake up or you're not stoned out of your mind, well, of course, all that comes back but tenfold. So that's why I like to make sure people know people in their community because I think that's the key. When you have someone that checks in on you every day, and then you start to feel worthy. And like you said before, however you recover is absolutely fine. I will never judge you if you do have a slip because it happens. Nobody is perfect. So to me, it's just, I know everybody says one day at a time. And some people say, yeah, but I just couldn't do it today. Well, maybe if you had that girlfriend or friend that was in your community beside you and you talked through your feelings, you could have got through those 20 minutes or, you know? So to me, that's huge. And I really like to be sure that people try and get outside and walk because I think that nature, animals, taking care of something else is just beneficial to give you something. So, I believe in yoga. I believe in AA if that's what you want to do. I believe a lot of young people think that AA, you have to be like quiet and a little quiet. That's not so. I've seen a lot of people that are in AA that are great. They don't count it's someone else's story. They tell it all. And then they're avoiding being able to accomplish and achieve being sober because quite honestly, you achieve much more than but it doesn't make it easy, not pretending that by any chance this is easy. You have to get up, you have to fight. We all have garbage days where we get up and we think, oh, what's the point? Something's gone wrong, and someone's sick or someone's let us down. A lot of women or young men when they get into these relationships, it's such a huge trigger because then they feel worthless again. I Not everybody will like you. That's the reality. And you're not going to like everybody. So you have to like yourself. But to me, it's just about continually trying to communicate with others and just to face those feelings. And, you know, I was asked last year in New York City to go walk on a fashion week for someone for the recovery community. I'm too old to this and to that. I'm not, it's Victoria's Secret mom. And I thought, what a hypocrite. I'm telling all these people to face their fear. This is my fear. And 10 years in, I still thought, gosh, a little glass of wine or a little this or that. would make this so much easier. And I didn't, but the feeling still came back because I was in here. And in the end, I got through it. There was 250 people that were sober, that all in one space, which I had never experienced. I met all kinds of people. And you know what? I made it. So it's okay to be afraid. That's the other thing. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay, but let's just get through it. Reach out. And, somehow if there's a word or an emoji that someone can send you, so you know to pick up the phone and call, because I think that's part of the problem. People shut down. And that's where the trouble comes. I think.
It's true, and you're totally right. It's okay to feel all these things. How would you go about supporting a friend or a partner, that's, going through those feelings? What would be some, good things that you could share with everyone on how you could support someone, that may be feeling depressed or, anxious or, having suicidal thoughts? What are some great things that you could do to, share with us to help, you're in their shoes, put yourself in their shoes, I guess, and support them?
Well, one of the things I've tried to do in the past before it gets to that point is do a walk and talk. So they have to get outside and I have to be outside. Because with WhatsApp today, you can talk to anybody all over the world. And so I've done that kind of thing. So people, one, have to get outside when they're not feeling like it. Two, one young woman that's in the recovery world, made to do it to with her. And he was 52 at the time, or 54, and at the tattoo too. But I thought, what it takes for us to have the same tattoo, for her to look at it, and somebody thought enough of her to do that together. So on WhatsApp, she was in London, England. I was in Montreal. We did a tattoo at the same time, same day. And so we had this bond. So I try and remind her when she goes through some tough time, look at this tattoo. This is our bond. This is an infinity sign. She's the pink heart. I'm the white heart. I send little white hearts to a lot of people when they buy my merchandise or when they've just reached out, because I feel that if they hold on to something and they're feeling low, they know that somebody's thinking of it. So that's another thing I do. I do send daily affirmations to many people. And it's funny. It's not all I wake up and there's got to be some kind of divine interventions, because I wake up and I think about somebody or few people and I send them a little note or a little something or an affirmation. And they say, how did you know I was feeling so low? So I didn't, but somehow they come into my mind. So to me, the most important thing I could tell everybody out there is stop. And the minute you think about somebody, just take that 1 second. Say, come in emoji, send him, hey, I'm here. Do you want to grab a coffee? How do you doing? And just keep reaching out, because I think the biggest fear most people have is sharing how lousy they feel, or, just to kind of get it out, So sometimes you have to sit there and say nothing. Sometimes you just let them talk. Sometimes you send them, an affirmation. But I think that if everybody took 5 minutes every day and sent 5 people a little message or reached out, I think the world would be a better place.
It's so true, and I should get back to doing that now that you say that. I used to do it all the time, just pick a few people every morning, whether they're new people, the same person, and they were grateful for
Yeah,
just a quick little hi, how are you even?
yeah.
How are you doing? And it starts your day off well. That's a really good idea that Kim has, and many people do it, but it just sort of sparks something in my mind. So I appreciate you for sparking that little light up there in my head, to get back to doing that. It meant a lot to others, and I'm gonna get back to doing that. So, I'm gonna hold myself accountable here.
I Another thing too that's really important is when you see people posting, when you see this, you can kind of read between the lines sometimes a bit of sadness or a bit of something. Send them a word of encouragement on that post. I know everybody's scrolling, but try and pay attention, because That's the difference of making somebody go, oh my God, they thought enough, not just sometimes just a heart or clapping or whatever. Write something down so they know you took that minute just to validate their feelings or you're okay. What can I do to help you? Ask the question. So at least if the door is open, they don't necessarily have to come to you. You've already opened the door.
That's so true, take that moment. It doesn't, instead of mindlessly scrolling and, we're all, I think, guilty of that,
Yes,
you
yes,
know, instead of doing that, mindlessly scrolling, maybe reach out to someone, take that time to reach out to someone or, you know, have a few favorite people you follow or something like that. And, make sure you reach out to those people that are close, near and dear to you, even if it's your parents, your loved ones, your kids, any of that. They love to I love getting messages from my son just, "Hey dad, how are you doing?" Or just, "Hey, I love you," just
yeah,
wanna
exactly.
let you know I'm proud of you. And I enjoy that. I get excited when I see those messages from my son or when my daughter, video calls me or whatever. It's nice to, just have those moments with them as well.
Other thing is, I had like a lot of gear that I wasn't wearing it all the time. And now I have this tendency, now with no plastic bags, I have a big silver is a new cool bag that I bring for my groceries. And you know how many people will stop me because you know what? We are not alone. And it almost everywhere I go, somebody that sees my bag or said I'm at a lunch or I'm somewhere at an event, and I say, no, thank you. I don't drink. 'Cause I don't say no, just period. I literally say I do not drink. And the people at the table, there's always somebody that says, how did you do it? How can I find them? My sister, my brother, my cousin, my daughter, my son. It's amazing how many people are suffering in silence. So we have to be able to talk about it as much as we can because it makes other people comfortable and then they don't feel like they're alone.
It's so true. Making you feel less alone. Like I had a friend reach out to me recently too. Just, like, what can I do, for myself or what can I do? He had already taken the steps to go talk to his doctor, and use the health benefits. He has a really, good job doing what he does, but the alcohol, the blackouts are taking over. It's not
Yeah.
like he drinks every day or whatever, but and we had a good chat back and forth, and I gave him some people even just to go follow and just sort of
Yes.
check out and those types of things, and, I'll check in on him later again and just see how everything's going and how his doctor's appointments went. It's nice to, and he's just like, "I've really looked up to you," he said, "even though he's older than me, we've known each other since childhood." But he's just like, "Seeing you be sober, Chris,
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you, I look up to you and what you do and stuff like that too." So it's nice to, get those messages and know, and hey, maybe I am doing something good here. Sometimes we
Yeah.
always we're notorious for beating ourselves up for we're not good
Yeah.
enough and those types of things. When those types of thoughts come in, it's nice to maybe just sometimes take a step back and be like, why am I even saying this? This is not, that's not who I really am.
Yeah.
Those types of things. I am good. I am
It's,
proud of myself, but you can't let your ego get in the way either though.
it's that I really think it's changing. Like, my kids don't drink and drive. They're 26 and 28. Their outlook on wellness is much better than mine was. One of my sons and a friend just got out and, rehab for drinking. The first party they were all going to, um, they came to the house and they said, can we get some t-shirts? And they all wore Sober is the new cool t-shirt. Not the kid that came out of rehab, but all his friends did. So 5 young boys of the age of 28 went to a party and with the non-alcoholic beer to support him just for him to know that they were so proud of him and they thought he was so cool. And most of them now, I'm going to tell you, not like I'd say 7 out of 10 of them, they only drink. They're into like they say they're not alcoholic beer taste that's good. Yep. They have to work the next day early. So I think it is changing, and people don't look down on it like this shameful. uh, go on, there's something wrong with you. The kids today, I think, are like, wow, you're going to be so healthy. You're going to be so well. You're going to get so much energy. Like, they just seem to find so much positive in it. To me, I think that's another thing people have to realize. No one's going to look down on you if you say you can't do it.
I don't, I, you know, and it doesn't matter why you don't drink. You don't have to explain yourself either. And it's so true though. Like my son's the same way. Like from what I know, he's a pretty honest kid, but I don't, and he doesn't even care for I mean, I know he's tried it because he said I don't like the taste of beer. He's turning 16 this year. He's like, I don't like the taste of beer really. I don't like the taste of that, and I wouldn't shame him, if he tried pot or tried any of that. I was doing the same thing, so I can't be, "Hey, I'm mad at you for this," because I was the exact same way, but I think he's seen enough with myself to know, with the drugs and all that stuff that, I think it scared him a little straight. He knows about it. He knows what I've been through. He knows, the lifestyle I used to live. So, I don't think he wants to go down that path because he's seen where it led me for many years, and he's happy to have his dad back in his life clean and sober now. So, and he tells me he's proud. So, and my daughter, she was a lot younger, so she wouldn't remember a whole ton of it. But, like I would and we don't, my wife, she still, she drinks, she does other things. She, has marijuana and stuff like that, but that's for her. And, she can shut it down after a drink or two, and call it a night, or if she wants to have a fun time, she can have a fun time, but then she can go weeks or, a month or two without having, those types of things. So, and she's fully supportive of me, and I appreciate that. That's the main thing there, that you need to have that support system, around you. And sometimes we had this chat recently actually about living vicariously, me living vicariously through everyone else, encourage, oh, you should drink here. This was what I used to love. We're getting around to it. I'm not even drinking it. I'm just encouraging it. It's like, we got to stop, just bite those things in the ass. So like, if you find yourself living vicariously through others, maybe you should reevaluate what you're doing sort of thing. So, and she was right though. You know, you can't live vicariously through others, or, always just want to talk and reminisce about those times. It's good to, have those times, and I had some great times, but, I can't do that anymore either. So
Especially when people are going through rough times, they need that sense of community and people that they will make. Because it's very easy to be tempted, very easy, especially at the beginning. So that's another thing I think people have to be a little more careful. My husband drinks, and I mean, I don't, I'm people drinking my role. It's been 10 years. There have been times, yeah, the same. 2 years ago, I was someone's house, they didn't know me. And they had my favorite champagne of all times that we used to have just for special events. And, I got that. And I had to do like a little 360 and did it because it just brought me, so who knows? Maybe, my mother, my sister-in-law think that I could, have, be moderate now, but I just don't feel that I need it. I feel so filled with happiness and joy and positivity. I don't really. And that's what people will get is a sense of pride, a sense of, happiness. You know what? And also some peace in your heart.
it's so true. Like I'm truly grateful that I don't drink anymore, but I'm also like we touched on earlier. I can go out and, feel a part of, and everyone knows that I don't drink and I'm clean and sober, and, and they don't even bother me. Like there's like I am, my wedding, was an open bar or whatever when we were there, but and I'm okay with that, and people are supportive of me. And, you know, I get the odd person, they'll be very drunk. "Chris, I should start hanging out with you more. Should I?"
Yes.
Oh, we get the emotional talks going. We've all had those, but, and I'm just there to listen, and it's, but I can still have a good time sober. I've had some of the best times in my life, clean and sober. Even the people I work with, like when I had my interview at my current job, I was I was like honest to a T, and like, I don't drink. This is what I do. This is but I would love, an opportunity here. And that's sort of what blossomed the career I'm into now. This particular place gave me that opportunity. And then, it took time, but I really flourished into where I am today, because of the opportunity. And they know I don't drink there, but sometimes when they have beers after work or whatever, they'll actually think of me too, and they'll go get me some non-alcoholic beers, and I'll sit there, have while they're having a beer after work in the shop or whatever. Which is, it's nice to, be able to and to be a part of. And they're like, and then like I'll be or one time I remember walking, I was having an non-alcoholic beer after work with them, and they're like, Chris, no, not on my time. They didn't realize it was a non-alcoholic beer. They're like, no, I am not being responsible for this. And that's the type of people they are too. Like, yeah, they drink whatever they want to do and stuff like that. But I remember one time it was when I had won this thing. I wanted gift cards, and they're like, I wanted it for the LCBO, which in Ontario is the liquor store. And I said, no, it's for my wife. Though she would love that. Then we don't have to spend this. But they're like, no, I'm not buying it. Not, you know what I mean? But and I appreciate that though. Those types of things
Yeah.
or whatever. Exactly. So they're like, no, not on us. But they're pretty good with me anyways. But they respect that though, and they know I don't drink. They know I don't do anything. They know where I was at one time. They know I don't do drugs, any of that stuff. So, people are respectful. And also I know as well that if I'm uncomfortable in a situation, there's always that door I can just leave, or I can tell someone, hey, I'm leaving. I'm not comfortable anymore. I just shut it down and go to bed, or, leave and go home.
Too, you can't be too young or too old. I had a woman 2 years ago that reached out, wanted a t-shirt, sent me a picture on her t-shirt and said, you know what? Yes, you can post online. And then all of a sudden she said, no, 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 no. I'm not comfortable. And I saw she was an older woman. And Christmas Eve, for some reason, I picked up my phone when I was in the middle of preparing dinner, we think, for all the like guests I was. And she sent me a picture and she said, my grandkids have said they want me to wear my Sober's the New Cool t-shirt for Christmas as they got their grandmother and that's she stopped drinking her 80. She'll be 83 in February and she'll be celebrating 3 years.
That's
So,
amazing.
like that's what I'm saying is never it can't be too early or it's never too late to take back your life. And she says now she's traveling, she's doing things. Her grandkids look at her, she said, and with the respect that she says she didn't have. So how can that be bad? So
Exactly. That's the priceless moments. Money can never buy happiness, but those moments, there's no price tag on those moments that you get back, or, you give back to the community, or you get people back in your life, like you said. Those are priceless moments. There's no price tag on those moments, and those are the best moments I find. Those are the
I
things that
guess,
bring people happiness as well.
yeah.
Many
And
Sorry, go ahead.
I think also they're not pay it forward. Don't you find that people that you've helped that all of a sudden end up serving that?
Yeah,
And
and it's
sometimes
it's all a snowball effect at the end of the day. And maybe not everyone does, and that's okay too, but that you've sort of instilled that in that person, and they may be like, "Hey, I heard it from such and such, or Kim or Chris, and, this is what they told me, and it really worked for me." And not everything resonates with everyone, and that's okay as well. But, you might be able to take a little tidbit from this episode or that episode, or, this and that, and intertwine that into your recovery. Because like I said earlier, we've said and mentioned, everyone's recovery is different, and that's okay. I'm not going to judge how you got clean, how you got sober. I'm not going to judge, my rock bottom was no different than that other person's rock bottom, because everyone has a rock bottom to realize, or that aha moment. I better, wake up or smell the coffee here, before things get way too out of control at the end of the day. And that's what it's all about, is having that moment of clarity and being like, yes, this is what I need to do. This is the path I need to take now.
this is what I deserve. I wish I had a magic wand, and just go like this, ding, 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 because this is what you deserve. You're worthy of a good life. You deserve to have a good life. And, I'm here. for me, it's such an honor that people choose to share their stories with me and their feelings and their trauma that they went through. And quite honestly, I hear things and I think no one deserves to have gone through. No one. But the fact is you did, so we have to find a way to cope with it and move on. Right?
Exactly, for sure. That is so true, Kim. And you have to, you know, just want to have to move on. It's all starts with that person at the end of the day. If they don't want the help, there's not much more you can do because they have to want to help themselves. Or like I said to my friend recently, you did the right thing by reaching out to me, and you just answered the question yourself and admitting that you have a problem to me. So that's, this first step here at the end of the day. Now the rest is up to you. You've told me that you have this appointment with so and so. You've told me, maybe takes a short-term leave from work to work on yourself. At the end of the day, you have to be selfish to work on you. It has to be for you, and those other things will start falling back into place. Those other things will start coming back into your life. Your wife, your kids will see that, hey, we got, not that you weren't present at the events or, special moments, but they see it like a whole new you at the end of the day.
The other thing too, I want people to realize, when it's near these people day one or, you go back to day one, I don't want people to think that they're judged. To me, if you give up, that's failure. Not having a slip and trying again. Just get back up. Try again. We are here. I'm here until you get her, until you find your way. Because I think that too, if people know they have a safe place, if they've made a mistake, is huge. So let people come back and say, and I know sometimes people say, well, I've given so many chances, I've given so many chances. But the next chance might be that day that they find like see the light, So
That's so
just
true.
keep just
Don't push away friends or anyone
yeah.
like that too that may be struggling. Help them out, or give them advice. You can only do so much at the end of the day, but you can also, just check in on them and see how they are really doing. You know, how are you doing really goes a long way, and then, well, I'm okay. No, how are you really doing? I'll
Yes.
push, I'll dig.
Yeah.
Um, your story though, Kim, is a testament to resilience and growth. In your experience, what advice would you give to someone currently battling addiction and struggling with their mental health? Are there specific steps or mindset shifts that you believe are essential for them to embark on a similar journey of recovery and healing that you've gone through?
No, I think that, for the young mothers that are there that young kids at home, I know that that can be trying. I know that there's like, the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock after homework's done, open the bottle of wine. I would suggest that, they try and get outside, even if it's 15 minutes with the kid. Everybody has that 5 o'clock or that 3 o'clock or that little trigger that happens. And find what that trigger, when it is, and try and, deviate from it. Reach out to others. Start following people on Instagram because most people that send me messages and say, I relapsed during COVID, or I think I went through my there is no answer to, do you drink half a bottle of wine is too much, a bottle of wine? Whatever it is, if you're questioning if you have a problem, normally there is. And I think they can remain open if they can go on Instagram. One of the first things I'll do is if they're like a young mom, I'll try and find a young mom that just becomes so like necessary 20 years in. I'll find that for them as the time goes on. When they first started, try and show them people that are kind of like them, that are getting through, that talk about young kids, like things that are insane, so that they can really relate and go, oh wow, she's doing it. If you need a therapist, get one. If yoga's your thing, do it. There are a million things, but you just have to ask. And I think once you start to question, I think there's endless possibility. There's all kinds of different resources that I'm still finding out in Montreal. I didn't know it. There's things that are popping up all the time. different support groups, different there. So we have to find out one, what the triggers are, you know, and I think a lot of people have this misconception. People will call me and say, well, you know what? I'm not a alcoholic. I'm not worried at all. Well, that's going to change because, now people are saying great and the drinker because I think definitely people who are comfortable to open up and talk about it. It doesn't matter. Labels to me, get the
There
label.
shouldn't be labels. Who
And
cares? If you stop drinking, you stop drinking. If you feel
yeah,
you're drinking too much or you feel you're using too much drugs,
normally you are.
normally
Normally
you
you are.
are. If you're having those thoughts, normally you are. But that's for you to decide at the end of the day. No one else can decide if you're
No.
doing too much or too little or whatever the case may be.
And I really think that, once you remove alcohol or drugs, a lot of the negativity will leave your life. So we have to get to that point. Uh, What's the best way? I don't know until I've really spoken to you. Where do you live? What do you like? What do you like? How old are your kids? Try and find like-minded people like them. And then hopefully they continue. And, I've had young women and young men, older women come in and out of my life at different times. It started a program or started and then went back and then said, well, no, I want to come back in. And then their little war opens. So never be afraid to say, I'm ready. You could be ready a million times. I don't care. Just keep being ready. Because one of the times it's going to work. One of the times.
It's so true, sometimes it might not happen on the first time or the second time. It took me many times, finally I
Yeah.
just had enough. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And, thought something had to change or there was going to be a lot of changes happening in my life. Not good ones either. So that sort of, that's my story. My story is my recovery. Kim's recovery is her recovery, and that's her story to share, and not for me to share. Same for goes for everyone. Your recovery is your recovery, and that's all that matters. That's for you to decide how you want to recover at the end of the day, and that's okay with me too. I have people from all walks of life that have come into my life or gone from my life, passed away now, those types of things. It's amazing just the types of people you meet when you decide you want to, get into not even this lifestyle, like to call it, just be, have a better, like a lifestyle change at the end of the day, a life, those types of things.
Really think, like you said, what for you didn't necessarily work for me. Or what I really think that if people just give themselves a chance, they'll see, you know, what their life could look like and what they really do deserve and not put themselves down because it seems always easier to remember all the lousy things about ourselves instead of the good things, right? So we have to start reinforcing the positivity. We really do. And, talk about mental health and addiction like you're talking about the sunshine. I can't tell you how many people say to me, you talk about mental health and addiction and suicide and this all like like you're talking. Yes, because we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it and make it normal so that people know they don't have to be ashamed or shy or afraid to talk to anyone. And that's the first step.
Yeah, you should never be afraid, and lots of people are, and that's okay, but you should never be afraid just to reach out or share something or reach out to someone. And, you know, it all comes back to you never know what someone else is going through. So, give them that space, that platform, or that open ear just to listen to them and talk to them at the end of the day, Kim. That's so true for sure. I appreciate you and want to take the moment though and just appreciate you coming on the show today, Kim. Before we go though, could you let everyone know where they can find yourself, Kim, on social media, website, anywhere they'd like to come purchase maybe some of your merchandise, check that out, and or just
So
come say hi and support you.
absolutely. So it's our website is www.soberistheNewCool.ca or .org because they're both available. I am on Instagram, sober dot is the new. You know what? I always get back to people. We are on Facebook. We are on Threads now. I'm not sure how that's working out because I'm not like a social media expert by any means, but I can promise you this, that if you do reach out, we will find whatever you're looking for, or at least point you in the right.
Well,
We'll never judge. Never, never judge.
well, thank you again for taking the time, Kim. I'm glad we were able to make it happen, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you, and I'm honored to have been a guest.
Thank you.